From Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona, the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is ready to crown our 2022 champion in the desert tonight. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Championship Week here on the Independence Racing Network. Folks, it all comes down to Monday night. We've been together since February this year for another exciting season of Xfinity Series racing here on iRacing.com, and what a wild year it has been. From the dominating performances of Mike Wright and company to the rule changes, drama, and fiery passion each of these drivers carry each week, this season has had it all. After 35 weeks of hard-charging competition, we're now focused on the final three in the 2022 season: Eugenio Alonso, Bennett Allen, and R.P. Allen. Everything is on the table for these three drivers, and no stone will be left unturned as we're ready to settle in for the final 200 laps of the 2022 season. I'm Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth, and I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag on the Independence Racing Network. And folks, what a season it has been so far. And you know, we've taken a lot of turns and twists through the last year, and it all comes down to this, as I had just mentioned. You know, we've had many different lead changes as far as, you know, races, but the points were dominated so well by Mike Wright most of the season. Unfortunately, Mike Wright, your points leader coming into tonight, not able to race as he's having some personal problems at home with his health, and I guess he's feeling very under the weather. And you know that particular driver will absolutely be missed out here on the racetrack tonight. Glad to have everybody in with us tonight as we're going to be taking a look right now at John Bawalda, right out of Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, driving the number 51 trackbookings.com Chevrolet Camaro. He is out on his second lap here. See if he might go a little bit faster than 11th as he did the first time around. The Bel Air, Maryland native out here, the owner of Jack Dow Motorsports, ready to rock and roll here tonight in Phoenix, Arizona, or suburban Phoenix, that is, here in Avondale. Of course, in a couple of months from now, it won't be anything about racing, but will be all about baseball, as the Major League Baseball season just ended a couple of nights ago with the Houston Astros being crowned the 2022 World Series champions over top of the Philadelphia Phillies, which unfortunately for the Phillies, it was another year of disappointment in the playoffs, but there's always next year, as we say here in Philadelphia. Matthew Helm, about a half lap to go now in his qualifying effort. We saw him go 28.55 the first time around. Zach Rinker right now sits atop the pile at 27.24. Corey Burkett, who has had some major issues this season, keeping it between the lines, has obviously found out how to qualify pretty well tonight, as Burkett, after his second lap, goes sixth fastest on the leaderboard. So a busy night for many of these drivers here in the Xfinity Series, as just a couple of more drivers out here qualifying. We take a look at Chris Claude out of Fairview, Tennessee, driving the number 10 Dasani Water Toyota Supra. And I'll tell you what, Chris is the commissioner of the Davis Brothers Roofing Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series. Can't say enough for the amount of work that he puts in on a Sunday night. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the commissioner of the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, my Jedi Master, Mr. Bob Nestor, who has stepped back from the racing this season and has basically been watching from the stands as a fan for the latter part of this season. But Bob poured his heart and soul into this league this year. He was able to string together some really great sponsors with RS Button Boxes and Butt Kicker. Of course, they will be providing some prizes for many of our top five finishers this season in the point standings. And Bob had put a lot of work into this league. I know that it can be exhausting over 36 races. You know, I mean, that's 9 months of racing that we've been together for. And like I said, it all comes down to this. So, Bob, we thank you, and we know that you're watching tonight. So we appreciate everything that you're doing, because, quite frankly, without him, I wouldn't be sitting here in this broadcast booth safely ensconced away from the action that's about to be happening on the racetrack tonight, as Ian Humphreys in the number 53 Chevrolet Camaro gets it wound up going down the backstretch. Of course, this racetrack having not too long ago been reconfigured, the backstretch now the front and so on. But he comes through the Geico restart zone, takes the green flag, and let's watch him do this hot lap. He's going to take the apron, which is something that last night in the Cup Series, I can't say was exactly recommended, if you will. That apron in the Cup car really upsets the chassis. And, ooh, Humphreys nearly rubs the wall as the Renton, Washington native comes down into turn 3. Bennett Allen from Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the number 3 JCTV Toyota Supra, one of your Championship 3 drivers, as well as his brother R.P. Allen and Eugenio Alonso, now out here qualifying. R.P. Allen going second fastest, sitting on the outside of row 1 right now. Eugenio Alonso yet to qualify this evening here at Phoenix. Bennett Allen rolling out of turn 4, crossing the start-finish line for his second lap. Goes third fastest, so he will line up diagonally from his brother. As that will be pretty interesting now as the two brothers getting ready to go at it here in Phoenix. And now we have Eugenio Alonso from Buenos Aires getting ready to take his qualifying flyers here at Phoenix. You can see him wiggling around and trying to warm those tires up, get some heat into those bad boys. The Goodyear radials on these Xfinity cars do need some heat in there for grip, as we will see tonight in just a moment what our track temperature is. I know that yesterday it was pretty hot during qualifying for Sunday Night NASCAR's Cup Series, nearly 101 degrees on the surface, as Eugenio again takes that apron, manages to cut nearly the entire dogleg off as he hauls it down into turn 1. Eugenio, one of the last drivers to come out here and qualify, as he is one of the first drivers on our point standings for this evening. John Crow Sr., the only other driver not to go out here and qualify, as 17 cars now have gone and laid a qualifying lap down. Eugenio Alonso bumps Bennett Allen down to P4, and he decides that that is just going to be it. So Zach Rinker going to sit atop the pile with R.P. Allen, Eugenio Alonso, and Bennett Allen, those Championship 3 running 2, 3, and 4 just behind him. And while we have a few moments here, we are going to step aside and pay some bills on the Independence Racing Network. In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today, and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway and the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race tonight, as Zach Rinker going to be sitting on the inside of row number 1. We're going to take a look at that qualifying list right now, as Zach Rinker going to be sitting on the inside of row number 1 on the pole position, with R.P. Allen on the outside of row 1. Row 2 made up of Eugenio Alonso and Bennett Allen, two of the three drivers in our championship 3 this evening. Finn Robinson starting the inside of row number 3 with Zachary Vaughn in the number 91 machine sitting on his outside. Brandon Minto and Corey Burkett making up row 4 with Chad Sanner and Matt Gaskins back in row number 5, rounding out your top 10. Anthony Paggio and Jeff Carson make up row number 6 with Brad Gunn and John Bawalda III making up row number 7. Row number 8 made up of Chris Claude on the inside and Ian Humphreys to his outside, with Matthew Helm and John Crow Sr. rounding out row number 9, and John Crow Sr. starting shotgun on the field. 18 cars scheduled to take the green flag this evening, and what an exciting evening we're expecting here, as we are going to try to grab Zach Rinker here, as we should have just about enough. In fact, we're not going to get a hold of Zach Rinker. Stand by. R.P. Allen, Dave Regal in the broadcast booth. You got a copy, brother?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, man, listen, championship week, here you sit, P2 on the standings, as Zach Rinker decided that he wanted to try to go just a little faster. But how are you feeling tonight down there in that 03 Yahoo.com Toyota Supra?
Well, just I need to put a good race together, no mistakes. And what really threw us off was the weeks, and like B Open was like all dark, and now it's light. So you have to make a few adjustments. So hopefully they work out.
All right, man. Well, listen, I see that they're not giving us the extra lap as we usually do. So you better settle in and get ready to rock and roll, brother.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it indeed, as R.P. Allen sitting on the outside here of Zach Rinker, as the iRacing.com pace car hauls it down pit road for the first time this evening. They bring it down the back stretch here, as we're going to sit high atop that starter cam. And we see the man in the stand with the green flag in his hand. They enter the Geico restart zone. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in. We are championship racing in Phoenix, Arizona. Zach Rinker out to an exciting start so far, as it looks like R.P. Allen getting shuffled back by Eugenio Alonso as they haul it off into turn number 1. Finn Robinson holding the low line. We're nearly 3 wide going into turn 1 down the back stretch. We can see it looks like Rinker starting to run away here, as Bennett Allen now brings out the caution flag. Well, this is an interesting start to the year, or to the championship week, on lap number 2. Well, hopefully race control can make some kind of a determination of why we're suddenly under caution, because I didn't see anything. I don't see anything. No cars dead. What is that? The 53 of Ian Humphreys looks all kinds of crunched up. Let's see if we can find out exactly what might have happened to Humphreys. Oh my. Well, folks, you're not going to like that. Well, if you're Ian Humphreys, you're not going to like this. Watch the 53 right here in the middle of your screen, as we can see the 25. Oh, the 25 of Matthew Helm. That's a little teammate-on-teammate action, as Humphreys and Helm get into one another, and that is what brings out our first caution of the evening, and what will shuffle things around. And folks, as I mentioned earlier, this is a 36-week season, and it has been a long one. This year we've had lots of changes in the league, of course, a lot of different faces this year. But one thing is for sure, we always have those leaders that we like to see in different places. And of course, one of the leaders that we want to talk to tonight is Mr. John Bawalda. And John Bawalda, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy? Hey, brother man, listen, here we are, championship night. One of your drivers up here in the 86 leading the way, at least right now, for points. John, listen, it's been a wild season. I mean, here you are coming off a pit road. How are you feeling after this year?
Have the season end, honestly. I want to focus on the simulator. I've been doing the esports thing for quite some time now. Focus on the simulator, hopefully get this thing out to the track for people to enjoy, and just come back next season with hopefully more to offer the league.
Yeah, I mean, and this league has been a really good place, I know, for you and I. I mean, this league is about so much more than iRacing itself, if you think about it. Quite frankly, what's going on here? I have a text message that says that you can't be heard, and I don't know why. Anyway, but this league is so much further beyond the track. I mean, you and Bob and I got a chance to go to Dover together, which was a first time for you and I. And this league has really transcended the iRacing community.
Yeah, I agree. We've done some good things. Had some good charities and everything that we promoted this season, and I look to try and do more of that next season. And we've got a lot to promote. So I look forward to next season and trying to. Okay, all right. I got to get back to racing. It was good talking to you, Dave, and we'll talk again soon, bud.
All right. Sorry about that, John. Didn't realize we had gone so long, but I'm going to pop you back up into your room there. Hang on tight as the 25 is on your inside there. My goodness. But John Bawalda definitely has a future in the sim racing community as he has the Jackdown Motorsports racing simulators. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, two of the championship three getting ready to be side by side coming through turn two, down onto the backstretch. Eugenio Alonso coming out the victor of this battle here. RP Allen running in third position right now behind him, with Bennett Allen in hot pursuit, being pushed around by Finn Robinson, as Finn, although not a playoff driver, is still up here trying to play the spoiler, as well as Zach Rinker, who leads this piece. We go Rinker, Alonso, Allen, Robinson, your top five. And folks, glad to have you with us wherever you may be and however you may be watching and listening. Glad to have you with us on the Independence Racing Network. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications, as we will be back next year in whichever capacity the good Lord affords us for next season. Not sure what we'll be broadcasting or how, but things will be interesting for next year. I'm pretty excited to see what the next chapter is here for the Independence Racing Network, which, of course, would not exist without the mind of Bob Nestor and, of course, the sponsorship and support from Northeastern Fire and Air, Butt Kicker, and RS Button Boxes. So very grateful to everybody who has helped to get the Independence Racing Network up and on its 2 feet. And, of course, the good folks over at Sim Racing Media, who I could not possibly be as practiced and have as much fun as I do without my friends and my family members over there at Sim Racing Media. As we take a look back here, looks like the 95 of John Crow Sr. crawled up from shotgun on the field, now running in 11th position, chasing down Brad Gunn in the 36, as it looks like John Crow Sr. working the low side now of the 36 going into turn one. That's a pretty flat turn, so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not that rear end steps out on him here in this Xfinity car. A lot of torque in the rear of these cars. We've seen it all season long, and just now Brad Gunn has a little bit of an earlier braking point and allows Crow to get past him as they cross the start-finish line here on lap number 11 of 200. 11 laps of 200 in. We're working our way toward lap 45 for the end of stage 1. Then, of course, at the conclusion of lap number 90 will be the end of stage 2. Then we'll have 110 laps to the end of this piece here in the desert tonight. So plenty of race left as right now 12 in with a three-way battle for the lead. We'll take a look at that right here as we're going to pull that up in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Taking a look at our lap gaps here on the ticker. This is going to be a pretty interesting graphic to keep an eye on all night as these tires start to fall off. You know, one of the things that we see here, this is not exactly a cheese grater kind of track, you know, that we've seen in so many other places in NASCAR. As we can see, these cars here in this top three so evenly spaced. You know, Zach Rinker about a quarter of a second ahead of Eugenio Alonso, and Eugenio Alonso just about 2/10 of a second ahead of RP Allen in the number 3 Yahoo.com Toyota Supra. Eugenio Alonso now being chased down, but it's still very early. Of course, they're looking to get about 80 laps out of a tank of fuel. So we're obviously going to see these drivers with next to no problem at all getting to the end of stage number 1 here at Phoenix Raceway. And, you know, one of the things that we see all season long is the sheer mania that is building setups. Of course, this is an open setup league. And what I mean by open setup, if you're new to iRacing or to racing in general, is a setup is the way that you have your car chassis, you know, twisted, turned, tilted, whatever you can make it do to make you faster. You know, whether it's a spring rate in a suspension or even something as different as your brake bias, which is more of a creature comfort, but it will help you, you know, get around this track and boogie around a little faster because, you know, the more comfortable you are in a machine, the faster you're going to be. And speaking of faster, Zachary Vaughn and Corey Burkett getting ready to go at it hammer and tongs as Corey Burkett is now down 4 positions in 12th. He is definitely not going the way that he was hoping to go. Going to take a quick look here, if we can. There it is. Going to take a quick look here at our race info while they're getting around this track. Track temperature right now, 95 degrees with an outdoor ambient air temperature of 89. Of course, partly cloudy, so that keeps the track temperature down just a smidge. And that wind keeping the fans here in the stands nice and cool in Avondale, Arizona. Of course, this 1 mile track, so it's a little bit longer than a short track, but a little bit shorter than what we would consider to be an intermediate. So we'll be going just about 200 total miles this evening here, as we can see right there on the screen. And, of course, we are running the open dogleg configuration, so you can see the way that this track is set up, where it's got that long straightaway in the front, or what would be the back stretch. And then the front stretch actually has this dogleg built into it. So you can also see that it makes for an interesting race and an interesting pattern to follow, as we are going to take a look here at Zach Rinker driving the number 09 Chevrolet Camaro from St. Charles, Illinois, as he is leading Eugenio Alonso by about 4/10 of a second, as Eugenio Alonso is starting to slide backwards. I wouldn't say in the wrong direction, but yet again, we can see that he is just about equidistant to Bennett Allen and Zach Rinker. So he sits nice and comfortable here in the middle in the number 86 Chevrolet Camaro. First Toyota in the field, of course, is Bennett Allen here in the number 3 JCTV Toyota Supra from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And his brother RP following close behind, running in 4th. Brandon Minto in the number 12 Upside Ford Mustang from Norman, Oklahoma. He's currently running in 5th position, while Finn Robinson from Jackdown Motorsports from Shropshire, England, running right now in 6th position. Matt Gaskins in the number 79 Outcast Sim Paints Ford Mustang from Parts Unknown. He is claiming this evening, running in 7th position. Chad Sanner in the 1110 Mods number 59 Chevrolet Camaro, running in 8th position, with John Crow Sr. Our biggest mover of the night, up 9 positions, running in 9th right now in the number 95 Chevrolet Camaro. And rounding out the top 10, Mr. Bradley Gunn from Aztec, New Mexico. Just about a stone's throw away from Avondale when you consider that we're up here in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania, and many of our drivers from the East Coast. So relatively close to Arizona is Brad Gunn, driving currently in 10th position. Matt Gaskin starting to work the high side over top of John Crow Sr. as perhaps John Crow Sr. has cooked those tires as he's boogied around this piece tonight. He's still holding the low line, but you can start to see that back end start to swing out a little bit quicker each time around through the circuit, which means that he's down there trying to turn right to keep it going left. As we dive through turns 3 and 4 once again, getting ready to cross the start-finish line on lap number 24 of 200. I'm Dave Regal, and you're watching the Independence Racing Network live on YouTube.com. Glad to have everybody with us tonight, and glad to have you with us here on Championship Week. And, folks, let us know who you're pulling for this week, whether it's one of the Championship 3 or whether it's a spoiler who might be out there to ruin the victory lane celebration of perhaps Eugenio Alonso, Bennett Allen, or R.P. Allen. Sounds like perhaps Finn Robinson had just made contact back here. We're going to take a look, see what might have happened. Oh, I'll say. Going to be taking a look at Finn Robinson here in the number 26. He comes out of the dog leg, and as he hauls it off into turn 1, he slides, right up into Brandon Minto in the upside Ford Mustang. And fortunately, they still point in the same direction, but definitely crunched up the front of the number 12 machine. We can see Brandon Minto now down on pit road. Let's take a look and see how much damage he may or may not have. Well, after that contact, looks like Brandon Minto deciding to put it on the hauler early tonight after just 28 laps. Just shy of 29 when he put it on the hauler, but unfortunately, I guess the damage after contact with Finn Robinson here in the 26 machine, just too much for the 12 to handle. Eugenio Alonso getting P2 away from Bennett Allen, as Bennett Allen now running in third position with RP Allen back and forth. So this battle for the lead going to start to heat up here as we're at lap 33 of 200, closing in on lap number 45 for the end of stage number 2, or for the end of stage number 1. About 12 laps to go in stage 1 here, as we've had a pretty good race so far. Nice and easy does it, as Mr. Sinatra would have said once upon a time, as right now looks like Bennett Allen still lurking around trying to find a way to maybe edge out Eugenio Alonso. Of course, right now Zach Rinker looking just this side of untouchable, as it looks like Bennett just gets a run on the back end of the 86, and now Eugenio Alonso all kinds of loose coming out of turn 4, getting down onto the dogleg. Right now that wheel has to be being fought against hard right now for Eugenio Alonso as he hauls it down into turn number 1. Bennett Allen now hot on his trail, as RP Allen getting around the lap car of John Bawalda. Of course, Bawalda down about 3 laps now, as this battle for second position has really heated itself up pretty good. We see Allen kind of looking for a little bit of an edge here. We'll see if we can't maybe get a look. Going to take a look and see if we can see behind us as this battle for second place heats up. My goodness. Bennett Allen all over the rear bumper of Eugenio Alonso here on lap number 37. It looks like coming out of turn 1 that he gets a good run, but just not enough, as Eugenio able to hold him off. You can see the hands of Bennett Allen ever so gently caressing this car through the turns as he's drafting right up to the rear of Alonso, but just not able to get the job done for the pass at this stage in the race. But I'm sure he will still be challenging him the rest of the way here in stage 1. Brandon Minto popping into our YouTube.com live chat, letting us know that there's 8 minutes of required repair after that contact with Finn Robinson. And looks like he has decided to just put it on the hauler for the evening. I was hoping to maybe get a chance to talk to Brandon, but I understand, man. But, if you want to come back into Discord, we'll be more than happy to chat with you here in the broadcast booth. On the Independence Racing Network, you're watching a Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series live here on YouTube. 41 laps of 200 complete, as we are 5 laps away from the conclusion of stage number 1. Zach Rinker, your race leader here in the 09 Chevrolet Camaro, followed by Buenos Aires native Eugenio Alonso in the 86 machine. Bennett Allen rounding out the top 3 with his brother RP Allen about 1.2 seconds behind him back here in 4th position. Finn Robinson, of course, I had just mentioned having contact with the 12 machine of Brandon Minto. He's currently running in 5th place with Chad Sanner in P6. Your Sunday night NASCAR Cup Series Commissioner Chris Claude from Fairview, Tennessee. Your last car on the lead lap as Zach Rinker is getting ready to stalk him. Thankfully, that competition caution getting ready to come out shortly, so that should rack and restack the field, which should get Chris Claude away from the front bumper of Zach Rinker here at the rear. Meanwhile, up atop the pile, Zach Rinker from St. Charles, Illinois. Looks like I'm guessing that picture is one of a groundhog. Pretty interesting choice for Illinois, as groundhogs are kind of our thing here in Pennsylvania. But lap 45, this is the final lap of stage number 1 here in championship race weekend at Phoenix. In the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, Rinker, Alonso, Allen, Robinson, your top 5. As Zach Rinker bringing it home here through turns 3 and 4. He gets into the Geico restart zone, rolls out of 4, crosses the start-finish line, and Zach Rinker is your Stage 1 winner.
I know belts and hoses, not X and O's. I do O2 sensors, but not defenses. Yeah, I make a right call to keep your car in the game. Don't even need a playbook, it's all in my brain. Fuel injectors, alternators, radiators too. It's who I am, it's what I do. Never know how. Never know how.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Laps complete here of 200. Stage 1 in the books. In your Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race live from Phoenix, Arizona. As the iRacing.com pace car leads the field across the start-finish line, Zach Rinker bringing home the green and white checkered flag. As I don't see him in Discord, we're going to get a quick chat here with Bennett Allen. Bennett Allen, Dave Regal in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, Dave?
Hey, man. Listen, I talked to your brother earlier, so now I'm trying to talk to you. Listen, that JCTV number 3 machine, all kinds of cranked up. What do you think you have for Eugenio tonight?
I don't know, Dave. I mean, he's just better on exit. I can tell he's running just a little bit of a better gear ratio than I am. I'm just really trying to save tires and trying to be there at the end, but. During the first stage, my initial goal was just to kind of try stuff around cars that might, help towards the end of the run. But yeah, I mean, so far, so good. We had a little close call with Finn Robinson early in the race. He apologized for that, so I'm not really mad about it. But this JCTV, Money House Racing, Toyota Supra, it's pretty good. I have my whole team around me, cheer me on, and let's just hope we can come out with the win at the end.
Oh, trust me, I saw the issue with Finn Robinson, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody apologize as much as I heard Finn Robinson on the radio tonight.
Yeah, he was really, apologetic for that, but I do appreciate when people say sorry right off the bat.
Oh, yeah, it definitely helps to diffuse the situation. Well, man, listen, the iRacing.com pace car driving down pit road, so we'll let you get back to it. And good luck, brother.
Thank you, sir. Sorry about the Phillies.
It happens. The Philadelphia Phillies, the bane of my existence as we send Bennett back to Money House Racing. The iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Zach Rinker with his finger on the button brings the field into the Geico restart zone. He hits the loud pedal and we are back underway racing at Phoenix, Arizona. Rinker again gets an amazing jump over top of Eugenio Alonso. Of course, we're going to be watching a little bit closer now as Bennett Allen's observing that Eugenio is just getting a better exit out of the turns than he is. As both Allen brothers trying to vie for that P2 right now and bring home this championship. Meanwhile, Chad Sanner and Corey Burkett getting ready to get the hammer and tongs out in this battle for sixth position. We are all kinds of a mess coming through the dogleg here, as that is just a dangerous place for anybody to be. We are side by side as Anthony Paggio working the low side of Jeff Carson in the number 9 Micro Center Chevrolet. I'm sorry, not Micro Center Toyota. As the 53 gets a run on the 25 of Matthew Helm yet again, almost the same way that they had done on lap 2 way back when. As we take a look here at lap number 53, Dave Regal on the Independence Racing Network, proudly presented by RS Button Boxes, Butt Kicker, and Northeastern Fire and Air. You're watching the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship race at Phoenix Raceway here in Avondale, Arizona. And what a beautiful night for racing here on iRacing.com. Of course, we think about simulated and generated weather, and when we go to one of these dry climate places, we don't really have to worry about rain in real life, and obviously definitely not on iRacing.com. One of the few things that iRacing has, the 25 of Matthew Helm gets loose coming out of 2 and down the backstretch, tucks right in behind Zachary Vaughn. As now it looks like Zachary pushing into the 53 is now being pushed by the 25. Eugenio Alonso getting ready to do battle for the lead with Zach Rinker, currently on the high side. He's peeking around and Rinker is trying to hold him off, but all of a sudden Eugenio gets to the low side and takes that momentum line away from the 09 as Eugenio Alonso going to swing it all the way up across the start-finish line, chasing down Zach Rinker like he owes him lunch money or stole his girlfriend for the homecoming dance, as Rinker hauls it off into turn 1 to put some distance between himself and Alonso. Finn Robinson getting ready to overtake the 36 of Brad Gunn as Finn hits that apron, and it just puts so much, because of the way that it upsets the chassis, sometimes depending on how hard you land on that apron, it really does scrub a little bit of speed. Ooh, one loose back here. That would be Anthony Paggio in the 07. Let's take a look. Paggio here in the 1110 Mods 07 Toyota Supra rolling out of turn 2. Just gets loose, but manages to keep it moving forward and stays out of trouble for the time being. Something going on with Eugenio Alonso coming into pit early here, as we're still about 27 laps away from the end of stage number 2. As Eugenio Alonso serving a black flag penalty. Trying to get a hold of Josh Ward. Josh Ward, Dave Regal in the broadcast booth. You copy?
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the driver of the number 1 Chevrolet Camaro on a Sunday night for Cup Series racing. And tonight, our esteemed race controller, if you will, Mr. Josh Ward. Josh, always a pleasure to be with you. And, buddy, listen, what's going on with Eugenio down here?
Eugenio Alonso in the 86 car was issued a drive-through penalty due to changing lanes before the start-finish line on that restart.
Oh, my.
Fortunately, with the way that the track layout is, that doesn't quite put him a lap down. It did put him at risk of it, but by going down pit road, he didn't go a lap down. So any penalties I assign as race control are going to be drive-through penalties. And that's not necessarily just because we don't want them to go to lap down. If the penalty or the offense deserves it, we're more than happy for them to go a lap down if they committed a penalty that warrants it. But anything that I issue is a drive-through, and it also, at the same time, because of the track being configured the way that it is, it turns out that a drive-through allows everybody to kind of have the opportunity to be able to defend their lead lap position.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that we had that problem literally on like lap 1 last night of the Cup Series race. And, usually last night it only took one person to see that before everybody suddenly tightened up. Of course, last night was, from driving through the dogleg too early, but still, listen, sometimes all it takes is one penalty and all of a sudden everybody snaps into line.
Wait, there's 3 specific rules that we're really looking for as race control right now. It's whether or not they change lanes before the start-finish line, such as going down into the bottom lane as you're in the top lane in second place, which Eugenio did, then going down underneath the yellow line before the start-finish line. And once you get past start-finish line, it's fair game. You can go down there all you want, just like it was a normal lap. And then third, we have a certain number of pit boxes that we're allowed whenever we go in and out of our boxes. Most of our playoff drivers are actually situated to where on exit, they could virtually drive through every single pit box if they so choose. But if you're farther back or if you're entering, you do need to be conscious of how many pit boxes you're utilizing. Nobody's went that far yet, and I haven't had to assign a penalty for that, but those are the 3 things that I'm really looking out for tonight.
Well, thank you for the insight, sir. I know that a lot of times when we see that kind of thing up here in the broadcast booth, nobody usually tells us what happened, and we have to kind of, deduce what happened from what we can hear on race radio. But this one, it seemed like Eugenio, it's almost like he either knew that he had done the switching of the lanes or doesn't have time to complain.
Unfortunately, it looks like he hit the wall right there, so I hope that doesn't affect him too much. But
well, you know just as well as I do how sometimes when one bad thing happens, it's like it breeds more problems.
Yes.
All right, young man. Well, listen, I appreciate you. I'm going to send you on back there to Joe Gibbs Racing, but thank you for your time, and I will chat with you later, brother.
You have a good time down here.
Trust me, when the captain's on board, it's always a good time. That was Mr. Josh Ward, normally the driver of the number 1 Chevrolet Camaro, performing race control duties tonight as things have gotten kind of shaky here with our Championship 3. And then there were 2, as Bennett Allen and RP Allen running in second and third position right now behind spoilers Zach Rinker, as Zach might be pulling off the race win tonight if he keeps this up ahead of Bennett and RP. And meanwhile, Eugenio Alonso way back in 16th position as he had to serve a penalty for switching lanes before the start-finish line. So, Austin, obviously you caught it. I unfortunately did not, but, you know, why not? Sometimes I can hardly see the car that's sitting next to me in traffic, much less something that's happening directly in front of me.
There's a new approach to lawn care, Preen One Lawn Care. Preen One does away with the hassle of multiple bags of different products. It has everything you need for a beautiful lawn in one bag. And all it takes is one application. For season-long weed control and feeding, apply the granules when the lawn is wet and weeds are actively growing. It blocks crabgrass all season. It prevents crabgrass seeds from growing. It kills the seedlings too, even when applied 4 weeks after they sprout. It's your best defense against tough weeds like dandelion, chickweed, henbit, and hundreds more. Plus, its slow-release formula feeds the lawn evenly for months to build stronger roots for maximum heat and drought resistance. Preen One delivers convenience and better performance in one package with one application. Spend more time enjoying your lawn and less time working on it. Preen One, and it's done. It's a lawn dream come true.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway, where the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series is in championship mode tonight, as Zach Rinker is leading the field with championship contenders Bennett Allen and RP Allen, both running 2-3 right behind him, as Bennett Allen just about 0.3 of a second behind Rinker, with RP Allen a full 1.55 seconds behind Bennett. So starting to get a little bit more distant between Bennett and RP Allen, while Bennett is just trying to maintain some type of closeness to Zach Rinker. It's been a pretty good night so far. Finn Robinson down here on the dogleg swings up behind Chad Sanner in the 59 Chevrolet, and it looks like Sanner going to hold his ground as Robinson swinging that Chevrolet down to the outside. Takes a little bit of air off the back end of Sander, and it was just enough to get side by side. But making the pass here on the high side at Phoenix is pretty difficult, even for the most skilled of race car drivers. And wow! Finn Robinson just slid across the 59's nose and all of a sudden down onto the apron as if he doesn't care who's around. That's his lane, and he'll drive it if he wants to. And folks, it really has been quite a season here on Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series on the Independence Racing Network. I mean, we look over the season from everything that we've, gone through. It starts with a guy named James Ray who won the Beef It's What's for Dinner 300 at Daytona International Speedway. Then James Ray wins again the very next week out at Auto Club. And then we don't really hear a whole lot more from James Ray. Basically, the rest of the season, we look at a lot of the drivers from earlier on in the season. James Ray, Dylan Ackert, and Bobby Blazer, all race winners, as Bobby Blazer was ready to give Mike Wright a run for his money early on this year. As, of course, we discussed a little while ago, Mike Wright not in this evening's race. But then we see a little bit of Aaron Mack, Michael Overstreet making an appearance this season. And the rest was the Mike Wright and Eugenio Alonso show with R.P. Allen making a special appearance to pick up some wins. Joseph Lester picks up a win this season. Brandon Minto picked up a win, as well as Andrew T. Jones. But it all comes down to tonight here on Monday Night NASCAR. And Zach Rinker desperately trying to hold on to this lead over Bennett Allen as Bennett Allen swings it out of the dogleg just about the same way that Rinker does. It's almost like he's matching him step for step on his groove. John Crow Sr. still trying to chase down Ian Humphreys here in the closing laps of stage number 2, lap 88. Working our way toward lap number 90, and at the conclusion of lap number 90, so when lap 91 begins, we will see who comes out the stage 2 winner. Zach Rinker brought home the green and white checkered flag at the end of stage number 1, and I'm betting dollars to donuts here once that green and checkered flag flies yet again. We're going to see him still atop this pile as he has now opened up a 0.6 of a second lead over Bennett Allen. And, believe it or not, Bennett Allen still 1.84 seconds ahead of R.P. Allen. So a pretty big difference in timing right here. But then we take a look further back, and we see Matthew Helm getting ready to duke it out with his teammate, Corey Burkett. And as they cross the start-finish line, that should solidify Zach Rinker as your Stage 2 winner, with Bennett Allen, R.P. Allen, Finn Robinson, Chad Sanders, Zach Vaughn, Brad Gunn, Ian Humphreys, John Crow Sr., and Anthony Paggio all earning those stage points. Of course, the only ones, to be completely honest, the only ones that mean anything at this point is Bennett and R.P. Allen.
I know belts and hoses, not X and O's. I do O2 sensors, but not defenses. Yeah, I make a right call to keep your car in the game. Don't even need a playbook, it's all in my brain. Fuel injectors, alternators, radiators too. It's who I am, it's what I do. Never know how. Never know how.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
In 2007, Ray Regal had a vision of serving his fellow firefighters' breathing air needs better. As a City of Reading firefighter since 1975, he knows the difficulties of finding the best and most affordable service company to care for and manage the most important means of survival firefighters have: breathing air. Northeastern Fire and Air is committed to providing our brothers and sisters with the best service in the industry and at an affordable cost. For more information, call 610-207-6608 for a consultation today and know that you can breathe easy with Northeastern Fire and Air. Zach Rinker getting strapped in, tightened down, and ready to rock and roll for stage number 3. As we see him bring the field into the Geico restart zone, Rinker and Allen getting ready to rock and roll. We are back underway. Green flag racing. Ladies and gentlemen, turn up the volume and listen to these cars. Pretty quiet race so far as now Zach Rinker running in third position. Bennett Allen, your new race leader, with RP Allen, his brother, running right behind him in P2. Eugenio Alonso on his recovery drive here in the 86 machine, now running in fifth position, with Zach Vaughn running in fourth. And now Zach Vaughn and Eugenio Alonso get a little bit better here as right now Eugenio running fourth and Vaughn running in fifth. Taking a look now at RP Allen in the 03 big old purple Yahoo.com Toyota Supra. He's been running this paint for several weeks, and I'll tell you what, it just makes the car look sharp. $105 of 200 laps complete here. We are past the halfway point. You are watching the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship here at Phoenix Raceway. I'm Dave Regal, and this is the Independence Racing Network. Glad to have everybody with us on YouTube, and always glad, of course, to be with the people that like us. Of course, things have definitely cooled off a little bit here, as even Finn Robinson coming through the dogleg, trying to get a hold of Zachary Vaughn, just finally able to get around him. Ooh, the 13 makes contact with the 9. That's Corey Burkett now running the low side as Jeff Carson sliding down in front of Corey coming through the dogleg. Carson holds his line. Burkett swings way out to the top side, thinking he can use that momentum from down there in the dogleg, but unfortunately it does not work out the way that he wants it to. If you're going to beat Jeff Carson in any car, you've got to outpatience him. Now we've got a caution here on track as Matthew Helm brings out the caution. Let's see what went on. As we're going to see Matthew Helm here in the 25 roll into turn 2. And oh, it wasn't. There he is. My goodness. Brad Gunn telling Matthew Helm how it's done. As Matthew Helm's day more than likely done for the evening. iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road. Bennett Allen with his finger on the button, his brother RP on the high side. Eugenio Alonso restarting in P4, so on the outside of row number 2. As it looks like he has chosen the inside. Matthew Helm being issued a drop. Oh, Matthew Helm getting into what looks to be maybe the 53? The 07. Matthew Helm getting into Anthony Paggio just a little. He will be issued a drive-through penalty as he had made an illegal pass earlier on in the race. 124 of 200 laps complete here at Phoenix Raceway. Dave Regal on the Independence Racing Network, bringing you all of the action from the green flag to the checkered flag right here on YouTube.com. Taking a quick look at Matthew Helm yet again here in the number 25. You'll have to forgive the quiet folks, but there is just not a whole lot going on track tonight. And it looks like Helm just popped that engine. Well, our replay control's not working the way they're supposed to. That's interesting. Of course, a bug on the very last night of the season. Tony Burke, glad to have you with us in the YouTube live chat. As I'm looking for you, I don't see you in the Jackdaw Motorsports, but Tony, if you pop in there, I'd be more than glad to have you here in the broadcast booth. Your race leader, Bennett Allen, with about 1.8 seconds over top of Eugenio Alonso. Also one of your Championship 3. The Championship 3 all running in the top of the field tonight. Allen, Alonso, Allen. Followed by Finn Robinson, Zach Rinker, Zach Vaughn, Chad Center, Jeff Carson, Matt Gaskins, and John Crow Sr.
There's a new approach to lawn care, Preen One Lawn Care. Preen One does away with the hassle of multiple bags of different products. It has everything you need for a beautiful lawn in one bag. And all it takes is one application. For season-long weed control and feeding, apply the granules when the lawn is wet and weeds are actively growing. It blocks crabgrass all season. It prevents crabgrass seeds from growing. It kills the seedlings too, even when applied 4 weeks after they sprout. It's your best defense against tough weeds like dandelion, chickweed, henbit, and hundreds more. Plus, its slow-release formula feeds the lawn evenly for months to build stronger roots for maximum heat and drought resistance. Preen One delivers convenience and better performance in one package with one application. Spend more time enjoying your lawn and less time working on it. Preen One, and it's done. It's a lawn dream come true.
I know belts and hoses, not X and O's. I do O2 sensors, but not defenses. Yeah, I make a right call to keep your car in the game. Don't even need a playbook, it's all in my brain. Fuel injectors, alternators, radiators too. It's who I am, it's what I do. Never know how. Never know how.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. 141 laps complete of 200 tonight. And time now for another special guest here in the Monday Night NASCAR broadcast booth. Mr. Tony Burt, driver of the number 4 Chevrolet Camaro. Tony Burt, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do, Dave. How's it going?
It's going fantastic. Tony, I'm glad you popped in as I saw you there in the YouTube live chat. I mean, for lack of a better term, it has been a pretty civil race tonight.
Yeah, I noticed it's been pretty uneventful. I think Minto was in something earlier, and I seen Helm just pop an engine. That's all I've really seen, right?
Pretty much. A couple of black flags issued. But, Tony, I want to talk about the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. I mean, you and I both, the last couple of years, have been running in this series. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the league.
Well, I'm fond of the league. I think the league's been good. It's helped my driving a whole lot. It's helped. The leagues are just nice. They make you more of a well-rounded driver. It's better for me myself. It's better than doing officials because you race with the same people and you get to know them, and you don't have some rogue driver in there taking somebody out and things like that. You don't have the toxic environment. So I really enjoy the league, and this league, for me, is a really good league. Chris does a great job with it. Very pleased.
Yeah, I mean, even your team owner at Jackdaw Motorsports, John Bawalda, this league has transcended the iRacing.com servers, as I was able to, go to Dover with John and Bob Nestor earlier this season, which, I know last season Chris was able to go to Nashville Superspeedway and meet Barrett Coffey, who used to be associated with the Truck Series. So this league has been together long enough now where we're all starting to cross paths in real life, not just here online.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It really is wonderful. I live 25 minutes from Mike Wright. I don't know if what happened in the truck race, he would ever want to meet me, but I live close to him, so Yeah, we all try to get together when we can.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a few times earlier this season. I mean, when I see, especially if I'm in a public race and I see one of the guys like yourself that happens to be in a public race, I get excited just because I suddenly feel more comfortable because we all spend so much time together, week in and week out in the servers.
Yeah, we sure do. It's like a big family, no doubt. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have too. But
I got a
go
I
ahead.
met a guy today from Greensboro, North Carolina. He's going to actually apply for the league, so he wants to join the league, and so yeah, it's definitely outreaching and grabbing more attention for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, would you say that there's a secret sauce, or is this all just divine intervention bringing us together?
Oh, I think it's divine intervention. Yeah, I mean, it's. I think that the the way the league is done, it's a no nonsense league, but on the other hand, it's a welcoming league. It's not strict enough to where you feel uncomfortable, or they've really Chris just does a great job making everybody feel comfortable, and I think that's the key.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I completely agree. I've said it a couple of times this evening. I mean, I wouldn't have, the broadcast quote unquote career that I have without Bob letting me experiment here. And then, of course, when I translate over to Sim Racing Media the rest of the week here on the iRacing.com servers. And, it makes me glad that we're able to develop not just on track, but, the other things that have to do with iRacing. I mean, whether it's here in the broadcast booth or Josh over there in race control. And I know that you've done race control too a couple of times, over the last couple of years, and it gives everybody an opportunity to try something that's not sitting behind the wheel as well.
Yeah, you get to see the big picture. I like race control. Actually, I was very nervous to do it. I did it for 4 or 5 weeks, and I got to where I really enjoyed it. I may have enjoyed it more than racing.
Buddy, listen, I'm here to tell you, there's a good reason why I'm more than happy to sit up here in the broadcast booth on a Monday night rather than be down on track.
You're a good racer, though, no doubt.
I mean, listen, I had a good night last night here in Cup Series, and Phoenix just happens to be one of those tracks that I get along with. My problem is that I'm one of those drivers where if I gain a couple of spots and I start to feel really good about myself, all of a sudden that pride kicks in and I make a mistake.
Oh yeah, I understand.
There's
I tell
always
you,
someone nearby to humble me.
I've been watching the race tonight since you started, and Phoenix looks so easy to drive when you're watching it on TV, but in the car, to me, it's not easy at all. It's one of the most difficult tracks for me. I hear a lot of guys talk about how much they love it and it's their favorite track, and I'm like, not me. I just do terrible.
And it's funny. It shows the different personalities in racing. I mean, me personally, I do like Phoenix. I like Bristol. I like some of the shorter tracks. I wouldn't say I like some of the shorter tracks with banking, to be specific. And I don't know if it's because I love being in the rhythm and being, oh, wow. 26 just getting loose, coming out of 4 into the dog leg. He holds it together. But, I don't know if it's the rhythm that you get in, because Phoenix becomes, after the first 15 or 20 laps, becomes a huge rhythm track.
Sure does.
You, of course, I know are a super speedway whisperer, as you had a great finish here in the Xfinity Series at Talladega right alongside of Chris Claude earlier this season. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, listen, I was here in the broadcast booth screaming my head off, which, I try to be as unbiased, or I try to be as non-biased as possible, but when it's somebody that I care about personally, I turn into a maniac.
Well, listen, for me, the super speedways are easy. For me, they are not. It's a 10-lap race. It's all it is, maybe 20. Nothing. I start in the pits every time. Nothing matters. The whole race. The only thing I want to do is stay around the lead pack. Not even in it, just around it, so I don't get lapped. I just want to stay on the lead lap. That's it. That's all I care about. And then the last 20 laps, I'll start making moves if I have to. But a lot of times, if I save and don't have any body damage, I can get to the front within the last 10 laps. And that's just what I've always done. And I I don't think I've ever finished outside the top 5 at any Daytona or Talladega. So they've been good tracks for me for sure.
Yeah, I definitely love my super speedways. I mean, I love to watch the super speedways. You know, people say that it's a wild card race, and it really is because, quote unquote, anybody could win at a super speedway, as we've seen so many times in real life. You know, Trevor Bayne being one of them that pops into mind. Of course, driving my number 21. But, you know, for me, the super speedways are so much more technical than people make them out to be. You know, people kind of think, hey, listen, just hang on to this pack and you'll be okay. But when you're in the pack or when you're trying to catch the pack, you're looking at, you know, closing rates and speeds and whether or not you can hang that throttle all the way out or, you know, if you've got to feather it. I mean, they are so technical, which is the complete opposite, you know, hanging out that throttle, completely opposite of, you know, here at Phoenix, where even with 42 laps to go, I mean, this, wow, side-by-side goes R.P. Allen and Zach Rinker, as Rinker has the rear end of the car starting to slide out from behind him. He gets loose. And it looks like the 03 of R.P. Allen still going to maintain that position, but R.P. Allen now down a lap, as it looks like he came in on lap 144. But
that's getting ready to get interesting right there.
Yeah, it is. You know, and here's the thing, Tony. I had it happen to me a couple of weeks ago in Cup Series because, of course, that's all I really have time to race, you know, personally. But, you know, I look at pit strategy and even especially here in the Xfinity cars, because we run these full-length races, you know, the pit strategy is incredible too.
Very, very, very has everything to do with it. And that's the thing with, like you said, the super speedways, you have at least one green flag, maybe 2 green flag stops. And if you can't stay on the lead lap, I mean, you're coming from 190, 185 down to 55 or 60. If you can't make that happen, your race is over. It doesn't matter how well you've done. One green flag pit stop, if you mess up, your race is over. It just is, because, you know, if you mess up on a pit stop and get a 45-second penalty, you're done. So
yeah, and how many times have you come in and you're thinking, you know, you're doing pretty well in a race, you make one mental error coming down pit road, and it just turns into a race wrecker.
Yes. It happens all the time. Way too many to me.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Back in the day when Bob Nestor was still, of course, actively racing here in the league, you know, Tuesday mornings were the mornings where I'd sit there and I'd critique Bob, and then, you know, Monday mornings were when we were both running Cup Series. It was, you know, hey, what did you do wrong last night? And the first thing I always said was, well, I slid through my pit box, or I was, you know, a hair beyond where, you know, when it says too far forward.
So easy to do. So easy to do.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win this championship? What do you think right now with 40 laps left or 37 laps left?
Listen, my money is always right here on the Buenos Aires native, Eugenio Alonso. I love Eugenio. I just think that he carries himself really well. At the same time, I'd really like to see Bennett Allen bring it home for the JCTV3 team. But, you know, my money is on Eugenio Alonso if I had to make a pick. What about you?
Yeah, same here. Of course, he's my teammate, so that I'm kind of biased there by a lot. But I would like to see Bennett Allen do it too. I like Bennett Allen. I think he's a great kid, and I wouldn't mind seeing that either. I don't see too much. Eugenio is so strong. But I think this is going to be a great next 20-some laps, because they're going to get closer and closer. And I don't know where their pit strategies are. If they can make it the rest of the way, they probably can. But I think it's going to get interesting. It's going to come down to who saved their tires.
Well, I was talking to Jeff Carson pre-race, and he said that he can squeeze about 85 laps out of a tank of fuel. And, basically, it looks like Bennett and Eugenio both came in on 114. Which puts them right there on the edge. Now, I know that Eugenio is a master at tire saving. Of course, I'm a master at ripping my tires to absolute shreds. But so I'm curious to see whether or not Eugenio can hang on to that. In fact, we'll take a look here at the last times that these drivers have been driving. Now, Eugenio's best time was a 27.61. His last lap was a 28.85. So after, let's see, just about a little bit more than 50 laps on a set of tires, he's only losing 1.2 seconds.
I don't know how he does it.
There must be something in the water.
Definitely. What's Bennett on the same specs? Where's he at?
Bennett is, let's see, Bennett, his best time was a 27.58, so a little bit faster than Eugenio. But his last lap was a 28.94, so Eugenio starting to close in on him lap time wise, but still about 1.4 seconds, fall off for Bennett Allen. So, Bennett Allen's still having some fall off, but as we can see, Eugenio's starting to creep in on him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Eugenio reminds me of just like a shark, like he's just lurking there in the water.
And he'll tell you that on Discord. You're listening to. He's like, he doesn't do any talking. He doesn't. You can tell he's concentrating on hitting marks, consistently hitting marks. So I don't know. This could be a great finish, I think.
Yeah, as they cross the start-finish line, 30 laps to go here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series season. And I remember, last night the feeling of now I finished 7th last night, which was surprising even to me. But I remember shutting the car down last night, and as I was, getting out of the session, I thought, wow, what a season. I mean, me personally, working for SRM, I get to see a lot of different leagues, Tony. And,
sure do.
A lot of times I see, the 12, 14, 16-week seasons. We're running 36 races, full-length races here in the Xfinity Series. I know that you don't get to race every week in the Xfinity Series, but tell me what that's like. I mean, I know what it's like, but tell me what that's like here in the Xfinity cars, because these things are a handful.
I'll tell you, I like the Xfinity cars, but those are some long races. My knees, I'm old, man. I'm 50. My knees start.
Oh, my God. He says I'm old at 50.
Sometimes my heel will hurt. Me doing the flying I've done, I'm a retired 737 pilot. I spent a lot of time behind the yoke and just sitting there for hours upon hours. But in this race car, there's no just sitting. I mean, you have to drive this car. Every track we go to, it's just a drive. It's intense. So it's the full-length races are tough. I mean, they're tough. No doubt about it. I don't know how my buddy AJ Allmendinger, I don't know how they do it sometimes when they're in a race car for 4.5, 5 hours. I just don't know how they do it.
Trust me, those heel cups that the real drivers like AJ do, like they wear, those heel cups must come in. It must be like a guardian angel, because I just Bob Nestor had given me an old set of his pedals, their Fanatec pedals. So now I have to drive with shoes on to maintain my grip. And it's definitely different. I finally have something to rest my heel in, but it's still not enough. I feel like I need like a pillow underneath my feet.
Yeah, I actually have a. You ever heard of a purple mattress? I have a cutout of a purple mattress under my feet because my feet get sore and stuff. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, innovation all the time. I mean, it's interesting when people. This league is so diverse when it comes to what we do for driver comfort, so on and so forth. I mean, but at the same time, we're also diverse in the equipment that we run now.
Yes.
When I started last May, I was racing on one single monitor mounted to the wall from an office chair and a podium wheelbase, and now I've of course my racing rig has been upgraded to triple monitors and a sled rig. The broadcast booth, of course, is a closet, quite literally a walk-in closet that I've converted to a broadcast booth. I think I put more time and effort into this one than I have the racing rig. But, so we have people that, are racing on a single monitor, some on two, a couple on 3, but you, on the other hand, sir, have the creme de la creme. Oh,
It's
we are
fun.
under caution. Hold that thought with 24 laps to go. Brad Gunn crashed. We're going to take a look here as we are under caution. Let's take a look. We will get back to that thought in just a moment, Tony, but taking
Yes,
a look
sir.
at Brad Gunn here in the 36 machine. Just as he rolls through turns 1 and 2, he just yeets it into the outside wall on the backstretch and then ricochets down to the inside safer barrier and just completely wrecks his night. That is a rough one, folks. We're going to take a look at that from another angle here as we cue this up in a different way. This is the hard part about working alone, folks, when it comes to production. I get
Ooh.
very spoiled as here we go again with the 36. Hits the outside wall. He tries to slow it down and just completely eats that inside safer barrier. You know, it's one of the ways that I get spoiled most, Tony, because, you know, on a Tuesday night and the rest of my week, I usually work with a broadcast partner from SRM. And here on Monday nights, it's just me up here.
It's a lot to do. A lot to do with 2 hands.
Yeah, trust me, my stream deck is toasty by the time we get done. But in fact, real quick, so take us through, you know, sim racing equipment. Now, you of course have the creme de la creme, as I was, you know, just getting ready to say, as Eugenio Alonso beats Bennett Allen off of pit road. Ooh, this just got interesting with 22 to go. So, tell us about your rig and what you have going on there at home.
So I have a 2002 Coke 600 car. It's an old Sterling Martin car that we purchased and converted. I had to cut the door off and put an opening there, and everything in it is completely as real can be. I got live NASCAR dashes, gauges that work in the dash with the sim. For the next gen car, I've actually got a flat screen that sits in there. It's an iPad that has digital gauges. It's got butt kickers. It's got about 21 speakers inside of it, so it sounds as real as it feels as real as it can be. It's a full-size race car. Yeah, I even have to do maintenance on my tires. Sometimes they'll go flat, and I had to put tubes inside the tires so they wouldn't go flat. But, it's an interesting deal.
See, and that's what I always think is interesting. You know, here in this league, you know, like I said, it's a huge spectrum that all of us are racing on. You know, some of us at the very basic, you know, with a single monitor and an office chair, to triple monitors to what you have. I mean, it's just incredible. And, you know, to be fair, some people say that, you know, the equipment makes the difference. Would you say that you feel more confident because you're safely ensconced inside your rig, or do you think that, you know, you can be just as competitive with somebody who's on a single monitor?
Well, I could say this. I have triple 49-inch monitors, so they span the entire car. So it's just like sitting in a real car. You can't tell that you're not in a real car. It feels like you're at a real racetrack. If I look to the right, completely out that window on the right, it's filled with screens, so it's very real. But I am probably one of the least talented drivers on the circuit in MNN, SNN, TNN, and some of them guys that can whip my tail are at a kitchen table with probably a 20-inch monitor. I mean, they're good, and they don't even have a right or left monitor, some of them. So I don't think it makes you any better, because I'm not any better because of it. I'm sure we're at the end of the talent list, but it sure is the realest. I mean, it's so real. My buddy gets in there, AJ, who we've talked about. He's got in there and raced, and he'll tell you that it feels as real as anything he's been. So he helped me set it up and helped me get the ergonomics of the steering wheel right and the chair and stuff like that. So of course I'm about 3 foot taller than he is. So, but
yeah, you know, and as we are back under green flag here, 19 to go. There's all kinds of screaming on race radio, as you do, with just a short period of time left. You know, when it comes to talent, whoa, we've got one rubbing the wall back here. Pretty sure that was Matt Gaskins or someone akin thereof, maybe the 9. definitely the 91 of Zachary Vaughn. But you know, when you talk about talent, it is not always about talent. You know, the one thing that I've tried to explain to different people is when I was a kid growing up, you know, you go to the arcade and we have a battle starting to heat up for the lead. But you know, you go to the arcade, and usually the racing games, so to speak, games simulators. I certainly couldn't call it a simulator, but they're usually buried toward the back of the arcade. They usually were the most expensive ones to play, and as a kid, and we are under caution again as Zach Vaughn and Chad Sanner have had themselves some incidents. We're going to take a look at this. Oh my goodness. Taking a look at Zach Vaughn in the number 91. This is right before the wreck itself. As it looks like Vaughn checked up behind the 9 of Jeff Carson. Oh! He just comes across the nose of Sanner. We're going to look at that again. This time we're going to look at it from inside the cockpit of the 91. Matt Gaskin's just behind him. Let's see here. Cockpit. There it is. Taking a look from the helmet cam. He checks up behind the 9, and as he goes sideways, he has nothing to do but just stand on the brake and hold on tight. But anyway, like I was saying, you know, they were usually the expensive games. So, you know, a lot of times when I was a kid, it was like, okay, you get one round on this thing, and after that, it's back to skee ball for you, you know. And for me, it's like now I've got this crazy, awesome arcade experience right literally in my bedroom. And for you, it's even more exciting.
It is. It is. Mine takes up an entire garage. I have 13 car garages, and it takes up the one in the basement completely. So it's in the way sometimes. But I'll tell you, it is as much fun as anything. I sold a set of my pedals today, and a guy from Greensboro came up and bought my pedals, and he jumped in the rig for like 5 or 6 laps, and man, he was sweating, and he told his wife, he said, man, that felt so real. He loved it. He wanted to come up and race all the time in it. So it's fun. It's fun. We have a little arcade right in the basement.
Trust me, my broadcast partner, Tony Trapasso, on a Tuesday night, he's become a really, really close friend over the last year here on the iRacing servers. And Tony and I we've been talking, and, you know, we both agreed, if I ever hit the lottery, and I know that yours is self-earned, but if I ever hit the lottery, I'm not going to tell anybody, but you're going to know.
That's right.
Because I'll be carting my fat butt right on down to Tony's house to be like, listen, I just need to know exactly how this layout works because it's about to happen. Don't ask me where I got the money. Just know that I'm paying for dinner tonight.
That's right.
But
it's a labor of love.
It is. Dave Regal and Tony Burt here in the broadcast booth. Tony Burt, of course, from Jackdown Motorsports, making a special appearance here in the Independence Racing Network broadcast booth. Tony, glad to have you with me, as it was getting kind of quiet up here, as basically right up until now, this race has been pretty quiet for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, I highly doubt it's going to be quiet for the last 10 laps, because it looks like it's getting ready to heat up for sure.
I saw a race yesterday on Sim Racing Media, the ISNF Cup Series, that it was a caution festival from start to finish, because, you know, they're just getting into their playoffs, and it was really getting hot down on the track. And I'm not saying it was a complete mess, but I'll tell you what, I certainly would not have wanted to be down there at all.
No, I bet not. That is this track especially. It leans towards that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
I tell you, the 03, Allen in the 03, he's going to be a strong person right there. Where he's sitting right now, he's in the catbird seat. I'll tell you, it's going to be tough to hold him off.
He definitely is. He's lined up behind Jeff Carson in the number 9 Micro Center Toyota Supra. Eugenio Alonso brings the field down the backstretch with Bennett Allen on his outside. Jeff Carson just behind on the outside of row number 2, restarting in 4th position. Zach Rinker, your stage 1 and 2 winner in the 09 pay-to-win setup. Chevrolet Camaro starting on the inside of row number 2. But right now, Eugenio Alonso has control of the field. They get into the Geico restart zone. And with 13 to go, we are back under green at Phoenix Raceway. And Dave Regal and Tony Burt with you here in the broadcast booth on the Independence Racing Network. Of course, Tony Burt of Jackdown Motorsports fame, as he has graciously decided to come hang out for a little while, which I got to be honest, Tony, I am more than thankful for the time. If you have something else to do, please don't feel obligated to hang, but this is great. I like hanging out.
I love talking to you, dude. You're awesome, for sure. Hey, tell me, out of the top 5 right now, who is in the playoffs?
Right now, actually, Eugenio Alonso, Bennett Allen, and RP Allen, all in the top 5, all in the playoffs. And Jeff Carson getting a run. Matt Gaskins getting a run on the inside of RP Allen. It looks like they're trying to shuffle him back. They know that he's the kind of driver where if he gets frustrated, he's going to make some crazy decisions.
So true. That's youth.
Oh, yeah. Or as they would have said in My Cousin Vinny, that's Ute.
That's right. That's youth.
And just as you say that, Matt Gaskins getting around RP Allen in the number 79 Ford Mustang. He now trails Jeff Carson by about 1.5 seconds. And Jeff Carson looking to fight his way toward the podium as Bennett Allen, Eugenio Alonso, and Zach Rinker all hold the podium positions right now. And here's Jeff Carson doing what Jeff Carson does best. You remember in baseball, they used to say for Manny Ramirez, it was always, oh, that's just Manny being Manny. Well, this is Jeff being Jeff. He's lurking, Tony. It's not that he can't keep up with these guys. He's lurking, waiting for someone to make a mistake.
That's right. There's going to be a mistake, too. It's not going to go caution-free from now to the end.
No, and that's, unfortunately, that can be the scary part, especially, here in these championship races. I mean, the tension's high, the excitement's high, and, I know even for me when I've restarted on the pole, at Daytona or Talladega, which is usually the only time I get to start up there, but I know that even so, my heart rate increases, my hands get a little shaky on the wheel, or they get a little damp from sweat, it just... Austin, I'm sitting on the lead. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm staring at Bennett Allen, who has a 0.86 second lead over top of Eugenio Alonso. There's no more battle for the... Bennett Allen is leading this piece here with 6 to go over Eugenio Alonso and Zach Rinker. And it sounds like John Bawalda is frustrated on race radio. Not sure what just happened to him, but Bennett Allen safely ensconced with about a 1.02 second lead over Eugenio. And Zach Rinker trailing Eugenio about 0.4 of a second. But again, Jeff Carson just lurking. I mean, Tony, this is what this whole season has come together for.
Most definitely. Allen is strong right now, very strong. I don't see anybody catching him if there's no caution.
No, in fact, he just gained by about a 0.1 of a second, now leading by 1.12 seconds over Eugenio. He was just 1.02. So he keeps building that lead ever so quietly. And someone's around. It was Zach Rinker, just brought it all the way around. The caution is out. Oh, my. That is self-sabotage there for Zach Rinker for sure. We're going to see Zach Rinker come down the backstretch, and as he hauls it off into 3, he just brings around the rear end of the car and just backed into the Geico restart wall. Oh,
Did he have tires?
Looks like he came in on 178. And he was in for 14 seconds. So by that timing, he should have gotten it done. definitely stepped out, and that's something that we see a lot here in the Xfinity Series. I mean, the rear end, there's so much torque at the rear of these cars that rear end can just turn all the way around.
Yes, it definitely does. Very powerful cars for the weight.
Oh yeah, I mean they can be a handful. I ran a couple of B fixed races over the last week, here at Phoenix, and even with the new pedals that Bob gave me, I mean they're new to me, but with throttle control, all it takes is one twitch of your ankle and you're bringing it around.
No doubt. Yeah, they're very sensitive cars. Very sensitive cars. The horsepower is just, it's crazy because the next gens may have more power, but they are so much more stable to the rear end anyway. I'm on the front end, Dave.
Oh no, the front end, as soon as you get off the throttle, it wants to dance around on you like a hula girl.
Sure does.
Now, Bennett Allen sits atop the pile right now, leading Eugenio Alonso and Jeff Carson. And just like I said a minute ago, there was Jeff Carson lurking. And, it paid off where he was just far enough back from Zach Rinker before that incident that, he didn't catch any damage or anything, which, sometimes I swear when you're trying to be polite to your race car, somehow even netcode comes out and bites you right in the can.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But as we get ready to look at this, I mean, we're going to be going green, white, checker. And, folks, one last time for the season, the way green, white, checker works is that once the iRacing.com pace car dives down pit road, they will wave the green flag, and we will be racing around for the white flag. And if anything should happen between the waving of the green flag and the waving of the white flag, we will hold up and restart them, rack them, stack them, and do it all over. However, once they catch the white flag and once the white flag is waved, that means that we will be racing back to checkers, whether it's under caution or not. So if anything happens after the white flag waves, the caution will come out, the race will freeze, and that will be the end. So right now, Jeff Carson just hoping to get ahead of Bennett Allen. And, right now, Bennett's looking like he's got quite the edge over everybody else as he is side by side with Eugenio Alonso coming down the front stretch. 3 to go. Green, white, checker. Here we come as we get ready to bring it into the 3-4 complex. The iRacing.com pace car safely out of the way as the JCTV Toyota Supra hits the Geico restart zone. He taps the loud pedal and we are back racing. RP Allen getting to the inside now of Jeff Carson as they are 3 wide going into turn 1. Carson, the meat in the sandwich between the two playoff drivers, Eugenio. Oh, Carson's around. And that will bring out the caution, and we will rack him, stack him, and reset him here. Oh, my. Let's take a look back at that. It's always disturbing, Tony, and I don't know how. I mean, I assume that you don't see it as near as often as I do, but it's always disturbing when I see something in real time. Or not disturbing, but surprising.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've got about a 10, maybe even 20-second lag here, so. To track him down. He's getting a 2-3 car length jump every time. He's got a great car under him.
Absolutely, and just as we see them again here, I'm going to try to slow this down.
Looks like the air just come off of Jeff's rear end there, and nobody touched him. It just looked like he lost some aero there and pushed him around.
Yeah, pretty much. And just as we sit here on the exit of turn 2, we can see Jeff coming around. And he had a rough night last night in the Cup Series, but my goodness, and that just brings him all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, that means that we're going to wind up racking, stacking, and trying this all over again. You'll have to forgive me. I was trying to get the live back, get back to live, and of course the computer wanted to fight me because championship week.
Yeah, last race.
Trust me, there are days where I think the gremlins are in here, something fierce in the studio because, here it is, the last race of the season for Monday Night NASCAR's Xfinity Series on the Independence Racing Network, and when I first booted up tonight, I had no audio, couldn't hear anything. Then I got a text message from Bob early on in the broadcast that there was some kind of a lag that was going on, about every 3 seconds. I'm like, holy Christmas. So, it's like the gremlins know, hey, listen, this is the last race of the year. We're just going to mess with you one more time.
You've got a good setup, and I think you always sound good coming across. And you're one of the best hitters out there far.
Well, I appreciate that. It's something that when I was a kid, I always wanted to do. So now I get to do it, even though it may not be the traditional way. I'm not sitting in a radio booth overlooking the beautiful grass infield of a baseball park, but at the same time, I'll look over top of the asphalt. That's fine. I always envy my coworker, Mr. Frank Marchese, over at Sim Racing Media. He works for the San Diego Padres radio broadcast, and when he's been in the ballpark, this season, and he sends me a picture, or we're talking or texting back and forth, I just drip with envy because I think he's doing what I really wanted to do in life.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's a dream job for sure. Speaking of baseball, your Pennsylvania team did pretty good in the World Series. They didn't win it all, but they did something to really be proud of.
Listen, I bleed Phillies red pinstripes all season long. I live and die with that team, and I can't even say that my heart was broken because, listen, they made a good run with an interim manager after, rumble, stumble, fumbling through the first portion of the season. I'm not saying they didn't belong there, but I'm certainly surprised where they were.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. They should have made Pennsylvania proud, that's for sure.
They definitely did. And speaking of making it proud, Bennett Allen getting through the Geico restart zone. He hits the loud pedal. We're back underway. Eugenio diving down to the asphalt here on the apron. They are going to be going at it hammer and tongs down through turn number 1. 2 to go now as we're racing back to the white flag. Eugenio Alonso trying to get the run over top of Bennett Allen as they come out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Bennett Allen has the edge over top of Eugenio. RP Allen back and forth as Eugenio gets a good run on the entry to 3. They roll out of 4, and just as Bennett gets across the start-finish line, we are racing back to checkers as Eugenio Alonso is now chasing down Bennett Allen. It's almost like he just backed all the way off. RP Allen still trying. Oh! Matt Gaskin's kissing the wall a little bit, holding RP Allen out of the podium. Throws the block in front of him. Bennett Allen going to be your 2022 Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series champion in the number 3 JCTV Toyota Supra. Matt Gaskins holding off RP Allen like a wall. Eugenio Alonso finishing second. Matt Gaskins in third. RP Allen in fourth. And John Crow Sr., his best finish of the season, rounding out the top 5. Tony, what a finish to this.
I think it's wonderful. Bennett Allen did a great job. He deserves all that.
Yeah, we're going to take a look one more time here at Bennett on this last pass because, I can't get enough of that. As we're going to see here, Bennett Allen just rolling out of turn 4. I mean, absolutely hammers it. I mean, and these drivers, they're all out of breath by now.
Sure.
But let's see if we can, Tony, I appreciate you. I'm going to grab Bennett if I can find him. And, Tony, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight here on the Independence Racing Network. Before I cut you loose, is there anybody that you'd like to thank for this season?
I want to thank you, man. You did a great job commentating all season. The broadcasts have been unbelievable, off the chain. I just want to thank you. I think you've done wonderful. And, of course, I want to thank my family and and all the support I have and our sponsors and Jack Down Motorsports. But I tell you, I'm just very thankful for Chris Claude and this league. And y'all have a good night, and thanks for having me, Dave.
No, thank you, Tony. All of the gratitude goes to you because you helped keep it fun tonight. So I will talk to you later, and I'm sure I'll see you on the track coming soon.
Yes, sir. Take care and have a good night. God bless you.
And you, my brother. And right now, it is about time that we finally get to reveal who the winner of the 2022 Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, Mr. Bennett Allen. Congratulations, my friend. You, sir, are the champion.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Dave. I mean, I don't know what to say at this point, man. It's been a long season, a lot of adversity I've had, I had to go through, and I mean, just everyone at Money House has just been right on my side the whole time through thick and thin. When I've been a little moron, when I haven't been a little moron, it's just it's awesome. And I've never had a team, my favorite team, if it's NASCAR, if it's sports, ever win a championship, and to kind of get my own is a treat, man. But man, I can't believe we won it. I was really scared for a long time. I mean, we had that long run, and we were thinking about fuel, if we'll have enough fuel, what's Eugenio doing, what's Preston doing. And I mean, it was just so much to think about at one time. I just had to lock in, run the same line as I possibly could, and it was fast. I don't know how I did it. I mean, I don't think I've ever been that consistent on a line. Then that late race yellow came out, and then another yellow came out, and another yellow came out. So we had multiple opportunities, and we capitalized. Man, I can't believe it, man. I just can't believe it.
In the words of the great Harry Callis, Bennett Allen, you are the man. I mean, you managed to hold off Eugenio Alonso, who was coming for your throat tonight out on track, as you do in championship weekend. At this point, the gloves are off, the torches and pitchforks come out, and listen, you held off some of the best in the business. Of course, Mike Wright not out here tonight, but Eugenio Alonso still a worthy adversary, if you will. Of course, your brother RP, finishing in fourth. I was kind of shocked as these last couple of restarts were absolutely vicious, and you managed to poise yourself to do the right thing. And here you are crawling that JCTV number 3 Toyota Supra into victory lane. Man, I cannot say congratulations enough. This is a privilege to be able to sit up here and watch you guys all season, man.
Yeah, obviously we're thinking of Mike. It sucks that he couldn't make it. Health over, everything else, And so, Mike, if you're watching, we're thinking of you, man. It sucks that you couldn't be out here. I bet you it would have been even a better race because, I mean, Eugenio was right there the whole run, like the whole race. And he was always in the back of my mind of what is he going to do next? How fast is he on the long run? And crazy thing is we were about dead even. I mean, the lap times, even long run were a 10th off, 100th off, 1,000th off. And, my brother is in my ear too. He's in the race chat and he's trying to tell me other things to do because he, just had to try something different after he got together with Zach. But I mean, what a race, honestly. I think that's the cleanest race and the hardest racing I think I've raced almost all year. The only 4X I got was when my brother hit me after the checkered, and all those X's I got doing donuts and whatnot.
Well, you earned those. And listen, you can go ahead and burn those Goodyear Eagles off because, man, you have earned this. I mean, like you just said, it's a very long season, 36 full-length races that you ran this year. I mean, I think if I remember correctly, and you know what, I'm just going to look here, when you look at the number of races, we run 36. I mean, out of those 36, you raced 24. I mean, that's 6 months of racing, man.
It's probably the most iRacing I've done, in the 2.5, 3 years I've done it. And I've learned a lot. Like everyone that's around us, they're helpful in many different ways. And my iRating slowly started to spike after I changed my, driving style. I'm still, aggressive, and sometimes I can be overly aggressive, and I know that. But I've tried to back it down a little bit and take my time, try to conserve tire, all that, and it paid off this time. I mean, I just can't thank everyone at Money House Racing enough. Money House Graphics and JCTV, to have an actual sponsor in the second half of the year is like the greatest thing ever. You know,
God, yeah,
and
yeah.
I never in my life would I think I would have a sponsor, and it's just so many people I can thank, and obviously I'm a Christian. I've been pretty open about that, and got to thank God. I mean, it's a video game, it's a simulator. You still got to thank God for being able to do this.
Man,
And
and when you talk about faith and thanking God, I mean, you don't know what a good day is until you've come through a bunch of bad days, and it's one of the things where I know that it's a good place for all of us to be when there's a family. Oh, and there goes the engine. But like yourself, me, Tony Burton, so many of us here, we're able to come together around that table, and because again, this particular league transcends the iRacing community. Obviously, it breaks into the faith community. John Bawalda and Bob and I were able to go to Dover together in real life. So this is just such a wild league to be a part of, and I'm thankful too for guys like you keeping it interesting every week. So man, congratulations again, and is there anybody else that you need to tip your helmet to before we cut you loose tonight?
Yeah, like I said, everyone at Money House Racing, Money House Graphics, and JCTV, everyone over at Propelled too, since we're with them, and that little alliance, Joe, Nick, all of those guys over there. My roughest days, which I have, a lot of those, they're always there, and they give their 20-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever, take on it. And as it's my senior year of high school, so I have to deal with a lot going into the basketball season. So it's nice to have a good group of guys that have, to be around, even though sometimes they can be annoying, but everyone's friends can be annoying sometimes. It's part of the friendship. You kind of have to deal with their annoyingness.
Absolutely, man. I totally get it. Well, once again, congratulations to the 2022 Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, Mr. Bennett Allen. And young man, we will see you next season for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Bennett. And, folks, make sure that you are tuning into JCTV. Although that we may not be on the same network by any stretch, you can always go check those guys out. And I won't be offended. That's for darn sure. And right now, going to pull in our P2 finisher here from the racetrack tonight. And also, second place in our season standings, Mr. Eugenio Alonso from Buenos Aires. Eugenio, good to hear from you. How are you, buddy?
Hey Dave, how are you, man? I'm very happy with how the session ended. Champion win tracks and second in Xfinity is more than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at the stats earlier, and, you and Bennett both raced 24 out of the 36 races this season. I mean, that's a long season. And to finish in second place in the season and to do it here on the racetrack in our final night, is just an incredible feat to achieve. I mean, how is that car feeling for you tonight? I had your teammate Tony Burt riding around with me here in the broadcast booth for the latter half of the broadcast. So, take us through that those last couple of restarts.
Yes, the car I feel really good, but the track track temp is too high for my setup. In the last cautions, I have a little damage. This me a little ten slow with this, and I try to fight and keep my spot, but Bennett was a little faster.
Yeah, and sometimes it just comes down to somebody being just a little faster. I mean, you were trying to close in on him, and you had a couple of laps where you were faster than Bennett, but ultimately he was able to just outrace you. But it's better to be outraced than to be knocked out of a race.
Yes, in some moment I be faster. Maybe he fight a little hard with Zach or RP, but in long run he's faster. In long run I try to save fuel. I try to make it without pit stop, and if Bennett make a stop, I can make it without pit stop. But then caution come out and strategy was not good.
No, trust me, I completely understand. And, here we are at the end of the season. So before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank for this incredible season that you've had? Kind of a Cinderella story, racing just 24 races and now finishing second in the standings. Who do you need to thank?
I thank to my team, JDM, all guys work a lot for this race. Thanks for him and my setup shop, Reaper Speed Lab. They give me a great car all weeks, and my wife, always my wife.
Always with the wife, because they're the ones that allow us to do these things.
It's too late right now here.
Trust me, it's creeping up on 11:30 here on the East Coast of the United States, and I know that pillow is calling my name. But Eugenio, again, congratulations, man! Just an awesome run for you this season.
Thank you. I now congrats to Bennett. He deserved it. He ran too fast all 2 races, and congrats for him and RP2. Too bad Mike couldn't run today. He deserved this champion too. He was the best driver all year, and I sad for him. I hope he's better.
Yeah, absolutely. So do I. It's a shame when you race so long and then all of a sudden here on the very last night you're not able to make it. But regardless, Eugenio, congratulations, and we will see you next season.
Yeah, man, thank you. Next season I'll be here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that this could be another one in the books. But not only that, this is a season in the books. I mean, it has been an incredible season overall. And I do want to pull up RP Allen one more time here as, come on, why can't I get him? RP Allen, Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, listen, I'm sorry about you not being able to finish there up in the top 3 with Eugenio and your brother, but still a great season for you in the 03.
Yeah, man, I had a really good time. It was really fun hanging out with Bennett and just racing for fun and a little bit more competitive, so it was just a good time. I tried to get up to the top 3 with the old tires, and I was actually pretty impressed that I even got to 4th. So it was just a good run. Had a lot of mistakes. Didn't get enough fuel in the car, so I had to pit halfway through the last stage. Didn't have enough tires to keep up. So, but good season. I'm happy for my brother. I'm like really ecstatic. So, yeah, man. Off to next season, I guess.
Absolutely, and as long as you're excited about next season, so are we. So before we cut you loose, anybody that you need to thank for this season before we get ready for next?
Yeah, man. Money House Racing, that's who I've been running for. So it's been helping me out a lot, and they really supported Bennett through his season, and he made the most of it. So, yeah, man, that's about it.
All right, brother. Well, listen, we will see you next season. Thanks for stopping by, and I will chat with you later.
Yes, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, now this is basically the perfect finish to a season. I mean, it has been a long season. The 2022 Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series was 36 weeks long. And from the very first race where James Ray won at Daytona through this very last race where Bennett Allen wins here in the desert at Phoenix, I mean, there has been drama, there has been excitement, there have been, arguments, and everybody's able to put that aside and go out here and chase the checkered flag. So, this league is built upon, sportsmanship. This league is built upon, doing it right. And the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, from what I could see here from the broadcast booth, one of the cleanest series that you're going to see on the iRacing.com servers, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, we ran many clean laps tonight, And that's the story of the Xfinity Series here on Mondays, where a lot of these races are clean. And again, tonight, it was championship night. All bets are off. The torches and pitchforks come out. And, of course, also coming out is Bennett Allen on top as we put the 2022 season in the books, and we put that book on the shelf to be saved for posterity in the annals of Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series history. And I can't be more thankful to you folks, the viewers. You know, you guys and gals out there on YouTube have kept me coming back week after week after week. And, you know, from some of the things that I've gone through personally this season, this has been my home, you know, right here in the broadcast booth with the microphone. And me personally, I can't thank my girlfriend enough for putting up with me sitting in a closet screaming hysterically into a microphone. I can't thank my sponsors enough. Of course, RS Button Boxes and Butt Kicker proudly sponsoring the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series. And, of course, Northeastern Fire and Air, because, you know, without them, this really wouldn't be much of a broadcast, that's for sure, as, you know, dear old Dad helping out and helping us get up and running here in our Conshohocken, Pennsylvania studios. So just glad to be with everybody week in and week out, as you've made us a part of your Monday nights, and I've made you a part of my Monday nights, and I am just so thankful for everything this season, from Bob Nestor, from opening the, you know, for him opening the door, Chris Claude for keeping the door open, you know, the camaraderie that we've experienced, you know, with John Bawalda and Bob Nestor, and of course so many of the other drivers out here on track that I consider more than just guys that I get to watch. These are friends, these are family, these are my brothers, and so glad to have all of you week after week. So for everybody here in the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, everybody here with the Independence Racing Network, everybody on iRacing, and most importantly for Bennett Allen, Eugenio Alonso, and RP Allen, and everybody else here with the Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series, I'm Dave Regal, thanking you for making us a part of your Monday nights. And remember, tomorrow as you go through your day, you find that one happy moment, you hang on to that happy moment, and you fly. Good night, everybody.